Welcome to Comfort Havoc number 2. We are going to take my 3 TikTok videos about Roe Vs Wade. Will be the beginning of the downfall of the Republican Party. This is part 1 of 3. You're going to see 3 3-minute videos, and then I'm going to pick up off my thoughts. And you're either going to like it or you're not. If you're a Republican, you might want to pay attention to this shit because this is going to affect you on some level or another. And more importantly, if you are a Republican woman or a Republican man, mark my words. Mark my words. You need this because this is the time for you to make that change. Because when y'all overturn Roe v. Wade, Mixed Native tried to tell you that this was a bad idea. But no, mixed pride and shame, y'all. This is the American way. So, let's do it.
Echo Fan Grey Wolf here. I have made this video like 90 times. So I'm going to try to word it properly so it doesn't sound harmful or messed up in any way before posting, which is clearly what I did in the last 80 some odd times of doing this. That was an exaggeration. I really only maybe did this like 7 or 8 times. But you don't understand how hard this is because this is a difficult video to make. To you women in power who are voting to overturn Roe v. Wade, who aren't looking in the mirror and forgot that they actually have a uterus and forgot that they're women too, and to all of the Republicans that are hell-bent on flipping this thing and aren't thinking that you have daughters who could become subject to the same thing that you're trying to overturn because, Roe v. Wade was a way of protecting ladies' rights and bodily autonomy. But let's not forget that if you overturn this, karma doesn't forget an address. I know how this is going to work. You guys are going to be successful. And just like in Virginia when we had that speed-through bill, your kids are going to be the victims of your success. And then you're going to be pissed. So, pure example, we had a speed limit bill here in Virginia where anybody from any state could do damn near 300 miles an hour down 64. And if we did 1 mile over that 5-mile allowed speed limit, people who was residents of Virginia, if you live anywhere in Virginia, you got a ticket on 64, your ticket price was double. So if you were doing 85 in a 70, that's reckless. So you had to pay that, plus the court costs, plus the high increase of that fine. This is exactly what's going to happen to all you assholes that are voting to overturn Roe v. Wade when your child gets on the chopping block. Don't try to change it back because you can prevent this shit from happening right now. See, in Virginia, all of us Virginians, we pay attention to the news and we caught a hold of that shit. So when we rode down 64 and they had just increased it to 70 miles an hour when the speed thing came out, none of us went over 75 miles an hour. None of us. The state didn't like the fact that Virginians caught on to this shit, and we even signed petitions. But the thing was, the main people that was getting caught were the kids of those assholes that wrote that fucking bill. Keep that in mind. There'll be a part 2 to this. Keep that in mind.
So before we go to part 2, first the bill got tripled. It literally, they tripled whatever the normal speeding ticket would be. Like if you were reckless and danger and all that shit got tripled. If you were because 10 miles over is reckless and 20 to 15 miles over is like hyper reckless or whatever the fuck that shit's called, but it's really, really bad. And the people who wrote that bill, their kids in those high fancy cars were the only ones that were really getting caught. Normal people who have a regular 9-to-5 job, we weren't getting caught because we weren't stupid. We thought that shit was ridiculous, and then after enough of those politician kids got caught, petitions came out so that we could sign them so that we would get rid of this bill. And it took maybe 8 months, but we got rid of that bill. And like I said, the motherfuckers that wrote that bill, they were the ones whose kids thought they had immunity because, a lot of politicians got that diplomatic immunity bullshit. And that's why they're all about overturning Roe v. Wade because it doesn't apply to them because they got diplomatic immunity. Wrong! You do not have diplomatic immunity in your own country. You don't. You have diplomatic immunity in foreign countries. You don't have that shit on the country of your own soil. At least that's how it works in America, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Someone who knows diplomatic knowledge, please come and correct me. I don't have a problem being wrong. So we're going to go to part 2. But I just wanted to interrupt real quick because our speeding bill was hyped the fuck up big time. It tripled any price that you had to pay. You had to pay triple what normal a person out of town wouldn't have to pay. You know? And then to top that off, you had to pay high court taxes and all this other bullshit because you broke the speeding law. So let's go to part 2. Yep, that's part 2. Sorry.
Part 2. Like I said. And yes, there'll be a part 3 because I'm sure y'all read the title in the first one. You know, a lot of people fail to understand how small the world is in a crisis. And how everything affects everybody on some level or another. Especially those people who are writing bills. Generally, if those people who are writing bills, that it comes back to bite them in the ass the hardest. Now, there are a lot of ladies out here that are protesting for their right to bodily autonomy. A lot of us men support those ladies, but we gotta kind of take a back seat because until we vote, this is their fight. It's our fight too, but they need to lead the charge. We need to support them the best we can, but we need to let them lead the charge, right? And for all you women who are not on the bandwagon and that are voting to have this thing overturned, look in the mirror. Like this. Take a good long look.
Sorry about that.
In the mirror. Look at your boobs. No. Look at your no square. Look in the shower and look. Take a good look at that. Because you're a woman too. And what affects one set of women in this world, it's going to affect you too. So while you're following your husband's lead or whatever made you choose to vote the way you vote, you must have clearly forgotten that in 20 some odd more days, you will be going through your vaginal cycle, just like every other woman. The one thing in the woman's body that no one really has control of, because you know you're going to get it, you just don't know when. And sometimes your vaginal cycle pops up at the worst of fucking times. Just think about what's going to happen when you don't get the chance or the choice to now you cannot buy feminine products so that you don't stain your underwear because, you know, some oxymoron decided to vote for Roe v. Wade, and now in certain states they're making birth control illegal. They're going to do all these things, and y'all are not thinking about the future of womankind. You're not looking into your daughter's future. You're not looking into your granddaughter's future. You're not looking into your aunts, your sisters, your siblings. But you have the pen and the power to write this bill, to overturn this bill where 50% of the United States population of these states want to hurry up and make this shit illegal. So there will be an increasing of SA. Think about that as you let this process while we get ready for part 3. Okay?
So before I go to part 3, SA stands for sexual assault. Sexual assault doesn't always count as rape. All right? I really wanted to say rape, but rape is a trigger word that TikTok doesn't allow me to say. I do spell it in the third video, and we're going to go there. But this is the thing. When y'all overturn Roe v. Wade, and it's your daughters on the chopping block because some psychopathic son of a bitch that's down the street, because, you know, Secret Service only has to protect the presidential children. They don't have to protect anybody from Congress, the Senate, or the judges. Those guys are private security, and you have to pay them. But you can't watch everybody every time. And some of them private security motherfuckers that you did not do a background check on will be that same son of a bitch that impregnate your daughter because they're watching your daughter all the fucking time. And they're probably harassing your daughter or your child, and your child might be too scared to come and tell you that this shit is happening, and the next thing you know, she gets knocked the fuck up. Or they're abusing your child, and they're too scared to say anything because it's their job to protect your child, and while you're sitting in the White House, or the Senate House, or the House of Delegates, or wherever the fuck y'all are supposed to be at, these people who are monitoring your kids could be also monitoring your kids in a very different way. But hey, I'm part native. I know nothing. I know nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah, but we're going to go to part 3. And then I'm going to get wide open up on this YouTube. Alright? I'm going to get really wide the fuck open. So if you guys want to see that, my TikTok, I don't know if you guys can read that because of the reflection. But there's my TikTok. I'll spell it out for you. It's my actual name. James Williams Jr., a.k.a. EFG. Now, for all medicinal purposes, fuck that shit. My name is Echo Fang Grey Wolf. That is my native name. That is the name I am keeping. It is also my stage name. So for acting purposes and working purposes, that's it. But as far as the military is concerned, with my military check, it goes to James Williams Jr. Anybody watching that's going to get me into acting, just make sure the check says James Williams Jr. so I don't have to deal with the taxes and all that other shit. Because I don't have money to get a new social security number and all that other crap that comes with legally changing your name. But if I could legally change my name, that would be it. But I'm not going to legally change my name, but that is going to be my native name. And once I can get my native heritage card and all that other crap, that I'm going on this recurring reconnecting journey, it's going to be Echo Fang Grey Wolf. It's going to be a fresh start because I'm going to be the only one in my family who's doing this. So therefore, and honoring both sides of my family with the native part in it, Echo Fang Grey Wolf. Because it's cool. Here's part 3.
This is the final part to this. I can't teach you guys right from wrong.
The hell? That wasn't supposed to happen.
I can't teach you how to have a moral compass.
I must have touched something.
I can tell you that you need to think back to when you were a girl. And this is for ladies only, really. Think back to when you were a girl and the first time you consented to a male having intercourse with you. You had the power. You had the power to make his day and make your own, if you're into that kind of thing. And having intercourse is for pleasure as well as procreation. Now, if you would have refused that, and let's say said male decided that he didn't give a shit that you refused it, why did you think about the victims of the description that I just gave you? Because you're signing Roe v. Wade to take away bodily autonomy. Bodily autonomy. Think about what that means, because you're a female. I'm a male. I don't have to deal with that shit. I'm also 48. I'm not going around essaying people. No. Not going around doing illegal stuff. But there are a lot of deviant males in this world. Not all of us, but a minority versus a majority of us that are out there. Because what I learned in school was that every 60 seconds, some lady is being essayed. If not R-A-P-E-D, they're being groped, they are being fondled, they are being molested. And if it goes further than that, with the word I just spelled, they get impregnated by somebody that they didn't consent to. Consent is very, very important. In fact, I'm going to take all 3 of these videos and make a YouTube about it, because I got more freedom there than I will ever have here on TikTok. And it won't be made until maybe 12 o'clock, where I can go set everything up. I gotta get dressed first, and then I'll set everything up. But understand, I'm not gonna be pulling punches on my YouTube, but I'll show all 3 of these videos first, and that way you can find me, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But I can honestly, truly, to God, tell you, if you're gonna overturn Roe v. Wade, before you do that, remember the first time that you had consensual intercourse. Remember that shit. And then think about all the young ladies who didn't get the chance to consent. When they were body slammed on the ground and had the wind knocked out of them and they couldn't fight for themselves, and nobody stood up for them. Nobody. Even their own female counterparts who accused them of being sluts and stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to pull punches on YouTube. This is the final part to this. I can't teach you guys.
Okay. So let's dig in now. 1 in 20 women did you know, or did you have met, or did you have spoken to on the streets live with this secret that they or somebody that they know has been the victim of sexual assault, sexual grooming, sexual groping, sexual fondling, and more importantly, rape. I ain't pulling no motherfucking punches. This is for all you motherfucking women that's fucking against your own. You understand me? If you are a female, sit your motherfucking ass down. If you are a Republican and you are male or female, sit your motherfucking ass down. And I'm sorry for swearing, but this needs to be said, and I can't put this shit in any nice form. Fuck you. I have 5 sisters. 5 of them. 1 older, 4 younger. At least 2 of my younger sisters, at least 3 of my younger sisters have blessed me with some nieces. And my brother has blessed me with some nieces. And I got 2 other brothers. And one of them has 3 sons. One of them has a son and a daughter. Alright? See where I'm going with this? So if you're a female and you're not looking into the future of these young ladies that are kin to me, fuck you. Alright? Because no woman walks around with blinkety lights saying, hey, rape me, I'm right here, rape me. No little girl, or little boy, but mostly little girls, walk around with little blinking lights on saying, hey, I want to be a victim of sexual molestation. I want you to stick your finger in my butt. I want you to stick your finger in my vagina. No. No little girl walks around with those kind of signs. None of them. But there are a bunch of sick fucking men out here that believe that they can do that to y'all. And there's a bunch of sick fucking women right here watching this video right now that's gonna fucking allow that shit to happen. Maybe they don't have daughters. Maybe they forgot how it was to find someone who wants to touch them and wants to touch them so bad that they want to be touched by that person. We call that finding your soulmate or finding someone that you love. But there are a lot of women who just want to have sex, which gives them the power to say yes or no to a man sticking his dick in their vagina. Sticking his penis into their vagina. When I said dick and vagina, I should have said dick and pussy. Okay? Maybe letting a man play with your boobs when you finally figure out what those things are for. Maybe you like letting a man stick his finger in a couple of your orifices outside of your mouth. You know? Women have all the sexual power in the world. Until they don't. Some little asshole comes along without a shadow of a doubt. He wants that ass. He wants that vagina. He sees your 8-year-old daughter. He realizes that she's 8 years old. He does not give a fuck that she's 8 years old. He snatches her, he body slams her, he rapes the shit out of her, and she goes home disheveled. And in shame and fear, she straightens herself up before she even gets into that house. Her eye hasn't swollen yet because she doesn't bruise easy. It's a genetic thing. Maybe your family's tough as nails, but not all of your members of your family is tough as nails. And she put up a fight. Wasn't good enough because she's 8. He's 25. Or worse, he's 49 like me because I'll be 49 in a couple of months. Or even worse, he's 56. He's 65. He's old, he's strong, and he just body slammed your 8-year-old daughter on the fucking ground, and he penetrated her for the very first time. She didn't get a fucking say in it other than the word no, but he couldn't hear her because he cut off his hearing aids, or he couldn't hear her because he muffled the sound of her mouth while he's covering it and inserting himself in her because he's got her hands on top of her body. He's wrapped them up with her belt or her skirt or her pantyhose. He's wrapped them up with her underwear that he ripped off. He shoved it in her mouth. He's holding her down and he's inserting himself, boom, 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 inside of her little tiny vagina. He's a grown-ass man who's been watching her walk to school or watching her come home while you're at work. But no, we're going to turn over Roe v. Wade because that's just not going to happen to us. We got bodyguards. Oh, maybe he's one of the bodyguards. Maybe he's secretly molesting your daughter, but you don't know it because she's too scared to say anything. Because you trust this bodyguard because he may have once or twice attempted to take a bullet for your ass. Not everybody that's with you is for you, and not everybody that's for you is with you, and not everybody who's protecting your children are protecting your children. Understand that this shit happens generally to the people by somebody they know. Rape is often done by more people that know the victim versus people that don't, unless they're in a place where there's a high rape crime capability. Places like China and Japan don't really have those things because they have curfew laws that you need to be in the house by a certain time unless you are at work. You know, but that's just some shit I read. I can't clarify that because I ain't never been to China or Japan. But you know, there are places where there are curfew laws in effect, and if you're not working the night shift, your ass ain't got no business being on the streets. I read that about China and Japan. I don't know how much of that shit is true. But let's stick to the facts. You got a 14-year-old girl now, or an 8-year-old girl, or a 12-year-old girl, or a 10-year-old girl who's been assaulted and penetrated by some dude. Like this motherfucking politician up here doesn't give a fuck. That dude raped your daughter because his daughter's safe at home, or so he hopes. But he ain't looking at the so he hopes part. He just knows his 8-year-old daughter is safe at home because she's in a school about 15 minutes away from the building in which he works in. Because he dropped her off. But he don't know if the people in that school are doing things to their children. You know, they don't give your 4-year-old and your 8-year-old and such daughters gynecological exams until something is suspected. But y'all want to turn over Roe v. Wade. That's why I'm talking to all you women now. Because clearly, I explained to you, men, we don't have to worry too much about that shit. Because a lot of the men are the motherfucking perpetrators. Or the groomers that groom your daughters into having sex with them. Because, don't worry, honey, it's okay. I'm your daddy's best friend. It's going to be fine. Your daddy ain't even going to worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. Or then there's the other side of that. Bitch, you going to have sex with me or I'm going to kill your motherfucking parents. Children love their parents. They want to be loved by their parents. So they consent to this shit by force, which is still legally rape. But you kind of fucking jackasses and politicians that want to overturn Roe v. Wade. I said I wasn't pulling the motherfucking punches. I meant what the fuck I said when I said what I said. Y'all motherfuckers ain't thinking about the poor people. Because you know the average Joe can't afford a bodyguard to walk his daughter to school back and forth every motherfucking day. The average Joe can barely afford to pay rent right now, plus gas money, let alone try to pay somebody to protect their fucking kid while they're busting their job on one job only to leave that job and work another shift at another job because somebody else needed to do something. So they decide, hey, I'll take your shift because I need the fucking money just that goddamn badly. And then you got to think about the single parents. They have to do that as well. Not just the married parents, but the single parents to provide a decent lifestyle for their children, or at least a lifestyle that they can just get by. They can't protect the children because they're working at work and they're working 2 or 3 damn jobs, but some kind of psychopathic guy out there that's watching their daughter walk home from school. He's watching her. She's 7 years old. School's like 1 block. And like it happened on 1 block. School's right next door. All the daughter has to do is cross the football field. Who's got eyes on that football field? How many neighbors that live right next door to you are watching that football field? Absolutely none of them, even on the damn day off. They're not watching that shit because their day off. They don't have kids. So your kid's no concern of theirs. Other than maybe when Halloween comes, when your kid dresses up in a little Halloween costume, trick or treat. And it's like, all right, give them a treat. No, go on about their business. And all of your neighbors all ain't going to commit crimes in your neighborhood because 9 times out of 10, they got nowhere to go. So why are they going to commit a crime in a place that's supposed to be safe for them, but it's not safe for them? Because if you're hurting your own neighbor, you're a fucking idiot because you live right next door. Raping your neighbor would never be the best idea you've had on your worst fucking day. But again, it can happen. And again, politicians ain't thinking about you or your fucking neighbor. Or that homeless guy living under that bridge that watches your child go home, who's 7 years old. He sees she's all very pretty and everything, and she looks just like her mom, and her mom's is twice as beautiful as she is, and her mom and her dad are happily married. He sees that the daddy is like 6'4" and can beat this motherfucker to death with no problem. But the daddy can't watch the baby all the fucking time because the daddy's working. The mom was working. The baby is old enough and mature enough to come home by herself because all she has to do is go across the football field and she's sitting in her driveway or her school. The neighbors are going to look out for her if they're home. But if they ain't at home, the neighbors can't look out for her, right? So that's when dude's going to make his move. And why is he going to make his move? Because he's been watching. He's been watching the neighbors. He's been watching. He's been watching you and the neighbors too. And now you know what he's about to fucking do. Y'all motherfuckers want to turn over Roe v. Wade while somebody's 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old girls, 13, 14, are having forced sex by somebody because you weren't watching them. Because your politicians that you voted for has decided, hey, fuck it. We're going to turn over Roe v. Wade. This 8-year-old girl gets pregnant. It's not my daughter, so fuck her. We don't give a fuck. And y'all don't. She's 11. We don't give a fuck. Now, when she get about 14, 15, 16, she's probably already exploring sex. But that's a whole different ball game than 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and even 13-year-old girls. Because they're going to be your fucking targets. I promise you, the sexual assault rate is going to go up. And it's going to be on those young girls that people think can't get pregnant because they haven't started their cycle yet. Newsflash for you motherfuckers. A little girl at 7 can have a baby, even if she hasn't had her period. Don't think that she can't, because nothing is fucking impossible. But you fucking politicians don't give a flying fuck about that little 7-year-old girl in my neighborhood that might be attacked on her way. There's a park behind my house. It's not my house. It's where I'm standing, though. But you see that? There's a park back there. How many times a day do you think me and my neighbor and our new neighbors and our other new neighbors and our other new neighbors look into that park on a daily basis? Maybe once or twice. My room's right there, so if I'm looking in that park, it's a passing glance. If my window was down, I can't hear anything that's going on in that park. But when I'm out here in the back, I can see everything. So when I train in the back, you better believe my eyes are on that park, even when I'm making a video for this channel. And I'm listening to that video. I'm looking at what's going on behind me. Because I know for a fucking fact, bad guys are out there. And there are people worse than bad guys. Alright? Understand that. There are monsters and demons that walk amongst us wearing human flesh, and they will attack your daughter the second that Roe v. Wade becomes illegal. Or the second abortion becomes illegal in your state. Because some bitch-ass politician that's trying to be a Christian, or whatever religion's fucking fuckery that they're using to make this shit happen, are going to not have to worry about their children. Unless, of course, one of their preachers, because Catholic priests aren't the only ones that are molesting children, molest their daughter and get her knocked up. And then these same politicians that push so fucking hard for Roe v. Wade to be overturned are going to want their children to be exempt from Roe v. Wade. Nah, motherfucker, home of the free, land of the brave, taken land, stolen land, genocide. Y'all motherfuckers, if everyone else has to suffer, so do your children. But y'all will be the first motherfuckers, you politicians, y'all will be the first ones that was against these things. We're not going to make you wear the mask. We're not going to have the mask mandates, which is why COVID ain't going no fucking where. Oh, well, we're not going to make you get the vaccine. Okay, I understand not getting the vaccine. You can put the fucking mask on, though, because it's not going to fucking kill you. And I have asthma, I have it. You know what, motherfucker? You're going to have a case of death when COVID gets you, because what is COVID? It is a respiratory disease. It fucks with your breathing. So if you got asthma, you probably really want to wear the fucking mask. But hey, we're not on COVID. We're not on freedom of choice. We're going to take your freedom as a female and your biological autonomy of what goes in and out of your body, specifically your vagina, away from you. And why? Because other females in power, yeah, you bitches, I'm talking to you, are watching and allowing this shit to happen to females. Now, let me talk to you about these pro-lifers, and then I'm going to get back on my pro-choice people, because I'm pro-choice all goddamn day. Except for when you're using abortion as a form of birth control. See, I'm not down with that shit, but I am all about the woman's choice. And they make condoms and birth control for a motherfucking reason. Which, by the way, these pro-lifers are going to try and take away from y'all as well. No, we're going to get rid of the plan B. We're going to make that illegal. We're going to get rid of these cocktails that can force an abortion, and kill the baby before it's a baby, kill the fetus before it's a fetus, kill the cells before it's a cell, because we care about these kids. And then when the kids are born, the first damn thing they do is jump down your throat and say, well, why didn't you have an abortion? Why don't you put it up for adoption if you can't afford to keep it? Which is your fault, because what did you do? Oh, you got rid of Roe v. Wade. You didn't give these young women the motherfucking option of getting an abortion or having Plan B or birth control, because y'all thought that that shit was not gonna be fucking accessible. So let's make it not accessible. In fact, why don't we take away their tampons and their maxi pads? Why don't we take away the lactating nipple couples? You know, let's just get rid of all rights to choose for women in general. Let's just get rid of all human rights. Let's handmaid tales the fuck out of this shit for the poor women, while the elite women get to do what they want. While the poor women are sexually assaulted on a daily basis, forced to have babies by motherfuckers that don't want them, and then put the babies up for adoption, even though they are probably the children and the proceeds or the product of very wealthy men who slept with very pretty poor women because their wives is ugly as fuck. I said I won't pull no motherfucking punches. I don't think I've pulled any punches. I know this video is going on longer than I wanted because Days of Our Lives is on, and I've been on here for 30 fucking minutes missing my fucking show because a woman's right to choose is just a little bit more important than my wanting to watch Days of Our Lives right now. This is more important than the air we breathe right now. This is more important than you fucking jackasses that believe the earth is flat. Why is this more important? Because without women, there are no men. And without men to have consensual sex with women, there are no babies that are wanted. There are a bunch of people who are unwanted. And when they find out that they were products of rape, they off themselves. Because they realize, damn, I wasn't even meant to be born. Somebody just took amongst themselves to body slam my mom on the ground and stick their dick in there and make me. I didn't get a say in it. But I'm the abomination that she carried for 9 months. She didn't want me. And now I know why. Because she sealed our adoption records. I'm trying to find out who my parents is. Oh no. And let's double the ante. Let's say I'm a fucking girl that was a product of rape. Because my mom got raped and I'm her daughter. But she didn't want me. But I show up at her doorstep. She knows exactly who I am because I look just like her and all my siblings. All my siblings who never knew I existed because I'm the oldest child. I was born when she was 10. So, she's 10. And in 20 years, she's 10 now. She was born. She gave me when I was 10. She had me. By some psychopathic dude that wasn't kidding her, just some dude randomly decided he wanted to body slam a 10-year-old fucker. She conceived me. She was forced to carry me because these assholes in the politician world didn't give a fuck about her. So she's 10 and I'm 1. Well, she's 10. She has me before she turns 11. In fact, she just turned 10 and her 10th birthday was the day she was sexually assaulted. So she's 10. The next 10 years of her life, she's never the same. Her innocence was taken. She's had therapy. She's got a little bit of cognition. She's good. Now 10 years has gone by. I'm 10. She's 21. She's got her shit together, got a degree, she's got her family started, she got married. She never told her husband that she was raped when she was 10. Her and her husband living it out. I'm in an orphanage. Her family members wouldn't take me because they were totally trying to have an abortion. Shit didn't happen. My daddy's family, they don't know I exist because he raped a little girl. He's in prison for life. It's just me in the system. I'm a rape baby. And I'm a girl. 10 more years go by. My math fucked up, so my mom's probably 30 and I'm 20. I done spent my entire life in the system. Didn't do drugs. I'm still a virgin. I'm 20 years old. Went to high school. People made fun of me. They didn't know I was a rape baby, but they made fun of me all the time. I'm a mixed person. You know, my mom's rapist was a native. Some part native. The tribe don't want nothing to do with me. Because I was an abomination. I wasn't supposed to exist. I learned that when I applied for my tribal citizenship. Because the citizenship that was taken from me because my mom was white. They put me in an orphanage. Now, the only thing that I don't share with my siblings is skin tone. I got my skin tone. But my mom was white. She married a white man. They're raised to be racist. They hate natives. They hate blacks. Anybody who's not white, they hate them all. But they can't figure out why. But my mom's raising them this way because she had a rape baby. Because she was 10 years old when she got pregnant by a native dude that was insane. He's in jail the rest of his life. She done almost but forgot about me. Ain't been keeping tabs on me. Her family ain't been keeping tabs on me. Father's family could care two shits, ain't been keeping tabs on me. Product of the system. I knock on her door. She's 30 years old. I'm 20. Because she had me when she was 10. I am the spitting image of her. Except for my skin tone. I don't look white. I look all native because I'm native color. My facial structure, on the other hand, looks just like her. I could be her fucking twin. Because she had me when I was 10. When she was 10. I done grew up wondering. I turned 18 2 years ago. Freedom of Information Act. My records were sealed. My DNA isn't. She was a victim of rape. This is how I find this shit out. I started doing things that, 20-year-olds probably don't really think about doing because they're normal. I'm not normal. I'm a rape baby. I am desperate to find out where the fuck I came from. So I go to CODIS. Tell me where my father is. That motherfucker's never coming home. So, first year of being 18, I go track down his family. I have his skin tone. The only thing I have of him that looks exactly like him is his eyes. Everything else screams my mother, except my skin tone. His parents come out and it's like, who the fuck are you? I give them the DNA paper and tell them I'm their granddaughter. They look at me with mixed feelings, mostly shame, and they say, we don't want nothing to do with you. We don't want nothing to do with him. We don't visit him in prison. You can feel free to go visit him, but don't ever come back here. We don't want you anywhere near this tribal land or this tribe. Tribal representative come and say, well, she's half native, so she's got tribal ability. There's that goddamn B again. She's got tribal rights to be here. She ain't got tribal rights to live in our house. She's hitting the bricks. So, my abandoned ass by my dad's side, I leave. I'm not here to cause problems. I just want to know who I came from. But they don't want nothing to do with me. So I will never know my family history because I'm a rape baby. Fucking rape baby. The baby of a 10-year-old girl who never chose for me to exist. But because Roe Vs Wade, her parents didn't have a choice and they carried me to term. I went to her parents first because my DNA of the CODIS also pointed out Jane Doe. But my DNA matches Jane Doe. Last known address was the house that she lived in when she was 10 because her parents were paying it off. They paid it off. And they loved the house. I have 2 aunts who are roughly 25 and 24. They know I exist. They're white. They're not happy that I exist. They also told me to get the fuck out. Because I'm the abomination that ruined their oldest daughter's life. They got her hooked on drugs. And she finally met a man who got her straight and had babies and got married. And she has 3 children. They don't know I exist. And they want to keep it that way. So that family has jumped down my mixed breed ass and want me to have nothing to do with them. Now I have no family. I don't have grandparents on my mother's side or my father's side, but I'm a rape baby. I exist because y'all took away my mother's rights to choose when she was sexually assaulted by an insane native. I use that as a scenario because I'm part native. This is not how my life worked out because I'm also a man, but in this scenario, I'm a woman. And I'm more in tune with my feelings. So now I know what rejection feels like on both sides of my heritage. I go visit my father in jail and I ask him why. His words are, "Who the fuck are you?" My words are, "I'm that daughter you created that day that you took that white girl's innocence." And he likes, "Well, you know what? Psh, I don't give a fuck. I ain't never getting out of this motherfucker. I don't want nothing to do with you. They don't come see me no motherfucking more. Guards!" They escort my little 20-year-old ass out. Now, mind y'all, I got a bag on my back because I don't have a place to go. I know where I'm going after I go see my mom because I done worked hard, got some friends, help me find them because they're my real friends. In fact, they're the only family I got. And I did tell them that I'm a rape baby because I found out that I was a rape baby when I went to the orphanage. That one nurse or one nun that was openly and honest enough to tell me the fucking truth of how I got here. With tears in her eyes. Which makes me cry. Because I wasn't supposed to exist. Because some dumbass man took the liberty of taking a 10-year-old girl's innocence. Her family considers me an abomination. His family not only considers him an abomination, but they consider me an abomination. Because they think I'm just like him. But I was raised in the system. I know right from wrong. I've never fucked up. Never adopted out. I aged out. So, I'm 20 years old. I have a job. It's not a great paying job. I'm a hostess. I get harassed all the time. Every now and again, in my little waitress uniform, some asshole decides he wants to pat me on the ass. He doesn't know I'm a virgin. He doesn't give a fuck. But I work in a restaurant because it was the only job I can get. And I'm a B cup. Yeah. I'm fairly normal body-wise. I got a little hump on the back, little humps in the front. I don't look half bad in the face. And plus, I'm mixed. So that automatically draws certain people to me. Some of those people ain't the best of people. You know? I work with my friends. We share an apartment. We pay rent. But I'm thinking of furthering my life and going other places. Now that I know where I came from, I want to go see my mom. Back to the story, I knock on her door. She's 30 years old. I'm 20 years old. Mind you, she had me when she was 10. Because Roe v. Wade was overturned. When she comes to the door, her and her husband, her kids aren't there. They're in school. So they don't know this video is happening. Come to my mom and I explain to her, I give her my name. My name, what they gave me. My name is Annabelle. Something that they could spell. Because when I was given up for adoption, it was just Baby Doe. My last name. I don't take my father's last name because his parents, who were native, didn't want me to have it. So I come up with a native name. So I come up with Arrowhead. Annabelle Arrowhead. My nickname has been Double A since I got out of the freaking damn system. Now, I know my social security number because that's given to me too. I finally have my native card because that's given to me too. But the native society, they really don't have shit to do with me. The white society don't have shit to do with me. And now I'm at the door of a woman who was 10 years old when she had me, and I'm 20 and she is 30, and she has gotten her life together. She has 3 children of her own, all girls, and she watches them like a hawk so that no one would do to them what they done to her, so that I would exist. And I get to them. And the husband, it's a white man, he looks at me, he's like, "You look just like her." Looks to his wife and says, you got some explaining to do?" And she says, "Yeah, remember that thing I told you about when I was 10 years old?" "Yes. I remember you giving me some details on that, but you didn't tell me everything." "There's everything." "What?" "I was 10 years old when I was sexually assaulted. But Roe v. Wade was overturned. I had to carry this thing to term. This thing, whatever your name is, young lady, You need to get the fuck away from my house and my property. I am your birth mother by force, not by course. And though you look just like me, I have no love in my heart or my soul for you because I didn't ask for you to be born. And granted, your existence changed the course of my life. I have 3 beautiful girls. They don't need to know that you exist. And I'm not going to let them know that you exist or how you existed until I'm on my motherfucking deathbed. So as far as I'm concerned, you pick your little ditty bag up, you go get back in the ride with your friends, and you get the fuck out of here. And the husband looks down and says, I'm with her. Get out. Don't ever come back or we'll have you arrested. Now I got 3 families that I done went through. And none of them want anything to do with me because I'm a fucking rape baby. I'm a fucking abomination. And yet y'all talk about the baby's right to live. Now I'm going to tell you the tragedy of this. I get back in the car, I go with my friends. I work for a couple of more days. I'm processing this shit. I went from hating myself for being in an orphanage to really hating myself finding out that I was a rape baby. And then my final days come when I write this suicide note to the only family I have, which is my roommate. She finds me dead. I'm supposed to work a shift. I choose not to work that shift because I'm so saddened with grief of finding out that I'm a rape baby. Find out that my father's native side doesn't want me. My father, he straight told me he didn't want me. So that's 2 parts of the family right there. My grandparents don't want me, and my father, who was insane, doesn't want me. My white grandparents don't want me. They don't want their other children to know that their 10-year-old sister had a baby. Not like they could hide that from the other kids. But you know, that's the family secret. The abomination with boobs that's walking. So, the night before I end my own life, I tell my friend, you know, I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. I think I'm just going to stay home and I'm going to take a nap. There's plenty of ways you can take that. So I want to make sure I get the job done so that I can't be saved. Because no one's going to miss a rape baby. That's how I feel about myself. Because of the places I've been, that's the places I've gone. So, I down a fuck ton of, let's say, Tylenol with codeine and Advil PM. It's not effective enough. So I play the choking game. And I hang myself on my door. And I'm about 5'4", 5'3". No, fuck that, I'm 5'2". That way I'm actually shorter than I actually am in real life. And I hang myself the night before. My roommate wakes up, she's running late. We have our own shower, so she doesn't think about me. My alarm's not set because I already called off that day, and I told her the night before when we had our last meal. She didn't know that I was planning on doing that. She has no fucking idea. Alright? I had already planned it. After our last meal, I play like everything is normal. I give my roommate my natural hug because the thing about people who commit suicide, you won't know they're going to commit suicide until they do. The people who talk about it the most, they're reaching out for help. And when they get that help, that's just no longer there. I know that from personal experience. Trust me. I had a couple of attempts. You know, let's keep the shit real. I had a couple of attempts. Nothing to do with this scenario. So she goes off to work. She works 2 shifts. The boss asks, you know, how's Anna doing? You know, we've heard about her few weekends and each trip, you know, and with her bag in case they invited her to spend the night, you know, get to know the child. It wasn't supposed to exist. Now, roommate comes home, calls my name a few times. I'm thinking, maybe Anna's sleeping. I'm just gonna leave her alone for a little bit. You know, she's been through some shit. I'm going on my date with Bob. She goes on her date with Bob. It's midnight. My light's not on. She's assuming that I'm not at home. I'm in there dead as shit, by the way. She doesn't know it. So she's going to give me a call, see where I'm at. My ringer's not on silent. My ringer's on loud. Because, as most people, we can't go anywhere without these damn masters of our lives, our slaves. These are our slave masters. I'm a guilty person. I just see me pull it out of my pocket. I rarely go anywhere without it. Anyway, phone's ringing off the hook. She's running all around. She's thinking, well, I hear Anna's phone, but there's no Anna. Oh, let me go to Anna's room. So, she's knocking on the door. Anna, are you okay? Anna. Anna ain't answering. She looks down. It's a puddle of liquid there. It's not blood because I've only been dead for a few hours. The rest of my body hasn't started leaking, but urine is coming out when you die. You had to pee before you die. You best believe when your body releases, poop, piss, all that shit's coming out. It's going to take longer for the blood and the poop to come out versus the urine because that's a straight liquid. So she steps down there. I'm busy. Fucking up my video. Anyway, sorry about that. Because disrespect, no one, when I do this, it happens all the time. So, doors unlocked. She pushes the door, but she can barely move the door because my 125-pound frame is hanging from the door. Because I've killed myself. Because I'm a rape baby. Because a 10-year-old girl whose life I fucked up by coming into it because some sane psychopathic son of a bitch took her innocence and created me. And I found out about it. I died pure. Never had sex. Never thought about boys or girls. I just wanted to know who the hell I was. But, you politicians, you want to take away a woman's rights to choose who she can procreate with or have sex with. Her bodily autonomy. That was the base of that story because when people find out that they rape babies, that's not a bullshit story. That shit does happen. You may think it doesn't happen because you don't read about it or you don't see it on soap operas or the news or TV. But it does happen. Now notice in the story I said that she was bullied, but she was never really bullied. She didn't pay that shit no mind. Because the only concern that rape baby had was, who's my mom? Who's my dad? Why was I giving up for adoption? But y'all don't weigh the pros and cons of that shit while you're flipping Roe v. Wade and turning that shit off so that 7-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl, a 9-year-old girl, a 10-year-old girl, as story suggested, 11-year-old girl can be raped and impregnated. But y'all don't want to see that shit happening, right? Y'all don't believe that scenario is a fucking bit of possibility. Why? Because you have a 10-year-old girl, you have an 8-year-old girl, you have a 7-year-old girl. Well, understand in foreign countries and third world countries and shit like certain areas of the Philippines and certain areas of Asia, and shout out to Ann Curry for many, many years back in the day when I was in my like early teens or late teens, early 20s or whatever the fuck it was that she did these reports on grown-ass men marrying children in foreign countries and it being legal, and when they brought their legally wives who were like 12 and 14-year-olds but of Asian ethnicity to America, and they were having sex with them and having them have babies. They were marrying kids as young as 7. And we stood by and let that shit happen. And we accepted that shit because they were legally married in a foreign country. First to the preacher who legally married a grown man to a 7-year-old. That's for you. Now you have 2. Secondly, for a grown-ass man to go to a foreign country anywhere in the world and marry a child from 7 until whenever you are grooming them to be your slave and your wife or whatever, that's for you. And now you have 2. What the fuck is wrong with you? Now, I hope I made a point with this video. To all you fucking women who are voting with these fucking politicians to overturn Roe v. Wade, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when it's your 10-year-old daughter that's pregnant by some insane motherfucker, whether they be black, white, native, Chinese, Latin, Mexican, whatever? What are you going to do when your 10-year-old daughter is walking home and decides, hey, I'm going to take this shortcut through this alley? No damn well she's never been through that alley before. Don't know what's in that alley. It's a dark-ass alley. Nothing but walls, trash cans, trash. She doesn't see that bum, excuse me, that's been living in that cardboard box He bust out. He's been watching her. She ain't been watching him because, a lot of people aren't aware when they're being watched. Everybody just assumes that life just goes on and nobody's watching you. You're always being watched, and now more than ever. Why? Oh, did you forget? These exist. And everybody has them. Even that bum that's going to attack your 10-year-old daughter has one of these motherfucking devices in his hand. Hell, he may even take pictures of his crime because a lot of idiots do that shit. Hey, let's go commit a crime. Hey, let's record that shit. That shit's going to be cool. We're going to get 1,000 views on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and Snapchat and whatever the fuck else I don't have yet. But we're going to get 1,000 views. That shit's going to be cool because we're recording our fucking crime. Really. You'd be surprised at how stupid some people are when they record their fucking crime. Alright? If I whip my shit out right here and pissed in my own fucking yard, it's illegal. You can't piss in public. You can go to the bathroom, but you can't piss in public. I mean, like, right now, and then there are children who live next door. Some indecent exposure, and, they can get me for, like, child porn for that shit, and that's a crime. But somehow or another, y'all want to overturn Roe v. Wade. You want to take away the rights of women to choose who they can consensually have sex with and have babies by. And for some dumbass reason, a lot of women are on board with this shit. A lot of you powerful politician females are on board with robbing your other females in this world, and especially the United States, while the entire world is laughing at us, of their bodily autonomy. Bye-bye birth control. Hello, sex ed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean sex ed. I meant sexual fucking assault. Hello to the climbing of rape. Hello to the molesting of girls at any age, at any time, by anyone, because we overturned Roe v. Wade. And I'm going to say this, and I don't want y'all to take this as a threat. Karma don't forget an address. And for every fucking female that doesn't believe in pro-choice, don't you be trying to jump the wagon when you're the victim or the mother of a victim, because you, with the power, the politicians, the female politicians that fought so hard to get where you are and automatically forgot that you have a vagina. So when your ass is on the chopping block and you are the victim of SA, rape, or if it's your kid and you decided, hey, we overturned Roe v. Wade. You did this. Remember, you did this. You just fucked every female in the United States over their right to choose what to do with their own fucking body. You did this shit. And may God have mercy on you. You don't deserve it, but may God have mercy on you. But more importantly, may God have mercy on your children, especially if they're female and you've taken their fucking rights away because you thought that shit was cool. To be in the mix with all these dicks that don't give a fuck about you while you sitting beside them and smelling great. They're thinking about fucking you. But you're not thinking about that shit because you're a politician and you got the job that you wanted because people voted for your ass. And instead of you honoring the females that put you in this fucking position, you decide, hey, I'm going to take all these bitches' rights away. I'm going to show them that they have no fucking rights and that they fucked up when they voted me into this goddamn box. But guess what? I'm a congresswoman. I am a congresswoman and I am the shit. And you voted me in. And I just took away your motherfucking rights. So, if you're a female and you made it this far in this video, you better know what to do when election time comes to your state. When those primaries come and these motherfucking Republicans and Republicrats, because there's some Democrats that's up on that little shit too about this pro-choice not being a choice, because they're all about pro-life. Better watch your candidates. Better study your candidates. Because those motherfuckers you voting in are those same motherfuckers that's taking your rights. And every fucking woman behind you is looking forward to see what you are going to do. Your decisions build the rights of the futures. I got 5 sisters. I got a couple of nieces from those sisters. I worry about their future now. You should be worried about yours. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf.